Looks like we're going over it. So guys, one of the main questions that I get asked on a regular basis is based around tabbing or yomping or hiking. They're all exactly the same thing. It's carrying weight over a long period of time at quite a slow pace. Today we're going to discuss if you need to do it for your basic training and to get ready to go into the British Army, the Royal Navy or the Royal Air Force. So let's go. So if this is your first time watching one of my videos, my name is Kyle. Served in the military about 7 years as part of 7 RHA, 16 Air Assault Brigade, did P Company and all that jazz. Left the military, got involved with recruiting and supporting recruiting group in getting people ages 16 to 18 into the British Army, Royal Navy and RAF. And now I just make videos around helping people with that process, helping people with their fitness. If this is something else that you want to dig a little deeper into, the membership program is linked below. So there's 3 main terms that we need to sort of be familiar with. The first one is going to be tabbing, which is a British Army term, and it was really the only one that I really knew. So there's 3 main terms that we need to familiarise ourselves a little bit with. The first one is tabbing, and that is a British Army term. It means tactical advance to battle. It's supposed to simulate being dropped off by some sort of transport, a vehicle, an aircraft, and then getting from where you get dropped off to your either your harbour location, some sort of ambush or whatever the case may be. That is to simulate you getting dropped off with all your kit and equipment, and then you get from point A to point B. Exactly the same for the Royal Navy and the Royal Marines, but they call it yomping, your officer's marching pace. Now, it's exactly the same thing. It's supposed to simulate the exact same thing. Carrying all your kit and equipment, getting from point A to point B. And then last but not least, you've obviously got the civilian term, which is exactly what I'm doing now, which is just like hiking, getting up and over some hills and some terrain, carrying a little bit of food, supplies, that sort of good stuff. So now we've familiarised ourselves with the key words and what they actually mean, tabbing, yomping and hiking. Let's talk about, is it important for you to get out there and do something similar to what I am doing now before going into the military? What are the benefits and what are the negatives of yomping, tabbing or hiking before going into the military? Now the positives are pretty obvious. You're going to get used to carrying weight, you're going to be a little bit more accumulated for when you get into training, and you're going to be better at it. You're not going to struggle as much throughout training. So it is definitely beneficial doing, but in the right way. Now anything, especially if you're a young woman or a young man, you are still growing, it can have a massive impact on your body. I don't know anyone now who has been in the military who hasn't got some sort of bad knee or bad ankle. Everyone gets bad knees and bad ankles from carrying weight for long periods of time over long arduous terrain. So if you are young, if you're getting started in yomping, hiking, tabbing, whatever the case may be, then take it very easy and use very lightweight. What you don't want to be doing is smashing your legs to bits before going into training. So then when you get into training and you do start doing it for real, you're going to pick up little niggles, injuries, shin splints, etc. So my suggestion would be start slow if you are someone that is going to do it, to avoid them negative sort of sides of. What are you doing? Are we running? Now, I am going to preface this a little bit for my paras and my Royal Marine followers out there. You are obviously going to be expected to do some very difficult stuff, and a lot of it does involve carrying heavy weight. So it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to sort of get used to carrying it. Woo! It's absolutely lovely. Look at that. I tell you what, right, there's actually not much better than getting out on the hills like this when you're just by yourself. Bit of reflection time, bit of fitness, bit of fresh air. It's lovely. Just hoping for some good views now. I can see stuff starting to peek through a little bit, so hopefully we get what we need. The dog's living their best life. And yeah, woo! Looks like we're going over it. Hey. I'm not gonna lie, this terrain isn't ideal for dogs. I had to carry her a bit of the way there. I was getting a bit worried, if I'm honest, but I think we're over the worst of it. We've got a little bit left to do now with Sharp's Edge, loop back round, and then we're on the way back in, which is good. Right, so we're just at the top of Helvellyn now, and that was a rough old climb over Striding Edge with the dog, scrambling across in the snow. Not my brightest of ideas, I'm not going to lie, but we made it to the top. I think I'm going to change the route and not go down Swirl's Edge or whatever it's called, just because of the weather. It's too slippy. I don't want to drop the dog or fall or something like that. So, bit of advice, if you do take up any tabbing hiking, just do it with a bit of sense. Not like me right now, taking the dog over bloody scrambles in the snow. Not my brightest idea. We're going to head down now, find a different route which isn't involving any scrambling, and talk about how we can start implementing tabbing, yomping or hiking into our plans. So we just made it down Swirl Edge after a bit of a shake up. I think I last took a video when we came over Striding Edge, and that was quite challenging. The weather was really bad up there, so snow was starting to lay. It was getting slippy and visibility was really bad. So I was going to, like, my initial plan was to not go Swirl Edge and try and loop back round past one of the crags. I can't remember which one it is. Anyway, I couldn't go that way. The weather was just too bad, so I had to go through Swirl Edge. We're just coming down now. We got over it all right, but just a bit slippy with the dog, and it was a bit dangerous, really. Not my brightest ideas. Oh, just on our way down now, a couple of miles back in. We're going to be 10 miles in total, so happy to get this one done, I think. The dog's sick to death. So what do we need to think about if we're going to start yomping, tabbing? Firstly, we need to get a decent day sack, something that is going to be comfortable on your back, something that you can get nice and sort of high up on your back. You don't want it proper low and just like hanging over your ass. You want something that's comfortable and it's worth actually spending a little bit of money on it. I've got an Osprey one that cost me about 50 quid and I've had it years, and it's like a dream. I use it for everything. I use it for the gym, I use it for doing stuff like this, and it's just a worthwhile investment. Second of all, when you start putting weight in your day sack or your Bergen or whatever you want to call it, distribute it evenly throughout the day sack. So that doesn't mean just hold your dumbbell in there right at the bottom, because it's just going to sag down your back and pull you back. You want to try and distribute it evenly throughout the day sack. So if you have to, throw some towels or a cushion or something in there, and like just distribute it as best you possibly can. I know it can be quite challenging when you haven't got like the kit and equipment to put in there, but just do the best you can to distribute it to avoid injury on your back, shoulders, things that's in nature. And then secondly, what I would say is definitely start slow. Like I mentioned before, if you go too fast, too early, start running with loads of weight on your back, like 15 kilos on your back, you're going to cause a bit of injury, or you're going to cause some damage. So start off slow, 5 kilo, couple miles a week, then maybe bump it up after a month, 10 kilo, and slowly build it up. If you're someone that's going paras and marines, then look at sort of going a little bit higher, but again, do not overdo it, because they expect you to not be to the standard that they expect you to be, if you know what I mean. So they're going to build you up when you get there anyway, but if you've got a little bit of wear and tear and you're used to it already, then you're going to be fine in terms of paras and marines. And just like I say, come out to places like this, the Peak District, the Lake District, anywhere hilly, and put 5 kilos on your back and go for an hour and a half. You're going to feel it in the legs, and you get a good benefit in terms of burning calories, leg strength and endurance, and it's just good overall, good fitness. Right guys, so we're just about back to the car now. Whew, bit of a long one, that one, about 6 hours on feet in total due to the cock up, but pretty much back now. Time for some scran, because I'm absolutely starving. Whew. 2-hour drive back to the house, and then that's me KO for the day, I think. Whew. We made it back. 10 miles in total, unscathed, no injuries. That was a bit of a tough one, actually. I thought we were gonna be out all day there at one point, but we managed to get back in good time, about 5.5 hours, and cracked off a good 10 miles over the hills. So that's me done for the day. just burst into a coughing fit. So that's me checking out, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to join the membership program, check out the link below. I'll see you in the next video.